Hi, I'm Tammy Randolph, Director of Investor Development for the Cleveland Bradley Chamber of Commerce, and you're watching The Chamber Does What? Hi, thank you for joining me again today. I have two very special guests from the Museum Center at Five Points, Adam Romano and Lucy Rymer. Hi, Adam. Hi, Lucy.
Hey, Tammy. How are you?
I'm good. Lucy, why don't you tell us what you do? You are the executive director.
I'm the executive director at the museum, and people ask me this question, and I'm like, everything. It depends on the day. I do a lot of fundraising. I do all of our behind the scenes, not fun stuff that nobody wants to think about, the finances and the HR. And, I used to do all the marketing, but now luckily we have Adam taking over a big portion of that. There are days that I have done the plumbing and the yard work.
It's that whole point that says other duties as necessary.
Other duties as assigned, yes. I do a lot of strategy and vision work. A lot of community relations and PR, and so I am just there. Whatever is needed every day, that's kind of what I do, and make sure that we keep moving forward.
That's great. How long have you been at the museum?
I took over in January, technically of 2021, but I was on the board before that.
I mean, what a great time to take over.
Right. It's a scary time, but a necessary time. The museum has been there for 25 years. I think I joined the board in 2017 and quickly got more involved than I ever thought I would. In January, I guess more like July 2020, we knew that our former executive director was going to be retiring soon. She'd been dropping a few hints, and then, of course, COVID had happened.
Yeah.
And when she decided, it was the time, and she moved to Florida to be closer to her family, we were just in a tight spot where we couldn't ethically hire anyone to come in because, like many organizations in the tourism world or in the museum world or in the art or the culture world, we were struggling severely. And so I said to my vice president, who at the time was Hank Matheny, I said, you know what, you are going to be the president and I am going to be the executive director, and we're just going to see if we can make it work. So after 6 months, things had gotten substantially better. We had done a small capital campaign. It's funny, at the time it seemed like an enormous amount of money to us. It was just $15,000, but we re-wallpapered our cultural center. We put down new flooring, and we put down new flooring in our ed room and bought some new chairs for our conference room table. That's all it was, but it was just an effort to make our spaces in the museum more usable and more rentable. So when we did reopen from COVID, we were attractive to people that wanted to use our facility because rentals are a huge way that we make our income to support our operations. So that was the goal, and we achieved that. And when we reopened about 6 months later, things were looking a little bit better. And I said, okay, well, now you can start paying me. You can pay me part-time. And about 6 months after that, things were a little bit better. And I said, okay, well, now you can pay me full-time, but pay me less than you've ever paid any other executive director before. Because for me, it was always about the success of the museum and seeing this treasure that we have here in our community succeed and fulfill its mission, and to be sure that the organization was healthy financially before we started to regrow our staff, and before I asked for what an executive director would normally make. So, but I'm happy to say that we've come a long way. At the time, we had a lot of debt. That is all paid off. We've grown our endowment. We've created new programs. At the time, our staff had shrunk. It was just me, Tara Brown, who was our events director, and we had a curator. Tara Brown only worked part-time. So we only had myself and the curator that were full-time employees. And now we have a staff of, we have four full-time employees now. I'm looking at Adam like, can I count? We have another 4 part-time employees, and now we have a handful of volunteers at United Way Vista. So we're growing. We're creating new programs. Of course, Adam's position at the museum is new, being our curator of arts.
That's what I was going to get to. I'm talking about growing your staff and your programs. The curator of arts, that's a pretty cool title. What do you do with that?
I mean, just like Lucy is the executive director, everyone at a museum of our caliber, of our size, does 7 or 8 different things. But what I do is I curate any of the arts-based exhibitions. Any temporary or traveling exhibitions, I take care of those as well. Some of our programs, I make sure that those run smoothly. And then I work on public engagement. So I take care of our marketing team. I manage that. I manage our volunteers. I manage our gift gallery. A little bit of everything throughout the time. And then I'm also making social media videos.
I've seen some of those.
Some
They're
folks
fun.
have seen me.
Yeah.
So we're trying to make more fun, engaging social media. Really any way that we can connect to the community, I kind of have a hand in that. But I, of course, come from a background in the arts, so putting on art exhibitions is a main passion of mine, so I was able to do that here in this position as well. We just did a art show for Halloween that just ended just a couple days ago, so
That's
that was
exciting.
really, really fun and exciting. But, we all kind of do all things at the museum.
That's how it works in the nonprofit world.
how it
Everybody
works.
does a little bit of everything. You were talking about temporary exhibits. There's a very special temporary exhibit that's coming up that's near and dear and close to my heart. We are celebrating the Chamber Centennial, and as part of that, there is going to be a Centennial exhibit at the Museum Center.
I'm glad you brought that up. It's going to be exciting.
I know. We're doing ribbon cutting for it on Thursday, November 6th. I'm very excited for that. So tell us, I've been kept in the dark about a lot of it. I mean, we've turned in some things, but tell us a little bit about how that exhibit's going to go.
So the exhibition is going to be starting this week. So by the time this airs, you can get out there and take a look at it. We're going to be having about 100 years of history crammed into our temporary exhibition space. It's going to end December 19th, so we've got maybe 2 months to get in there and see it. The exhibition spans, like I said, 100 years of the chamber. So we talk a little bit about prehistory and what led to the chamber getting created. And we pulled some items specifically from the chamber's archives department, and they've lent those to us. We've displayed those, some of the golden shovels used to break ground, some of the ribbons used for ribbon cuttings, but also some really fantastic old photographs that really detail the history of the chamber. And then we went into a deep dive on, key milestone moments of the chamber. So you're going to see a little bit of prehistory, and you're going to read about that, a few photos of prehistory of the chamber. Then you're also going to see some milestone moments on a timeline. So you can really look at maybe every 5 years or every 10 years, something important that the chamber's done, something important the chamber's had a part in, something important to the history of Cleveland, and then a little bit of a highlight on some of the milestones that are pillars in the chamber, things like tourism and economic development and membership. And then you've got a little highlight on members that have been there for 100 years. So we have a nice image of a lot of different things that the chamber has been in over the few years.
It's really kind of amazing to think that it's been 100 years. That's quite a legacy that's been going on.
It is. And, what I think is so interesting about this time in Cleveland is we've celebrated a lot of centennials
Yes.
over the past year or two. There was the library, of course, the chamber, Rotary, Boy Scout Troop 10. Next year is the 100th anniversary at the Princess Theater, which I think is really neat. But there was a lot of activity that happened 2024 to 2026, 1924 to 1926 in Cleveland. And, we've curated these occasions one at a time, but I think it would be really neat here in maybe another year or so. We have a new curator of collections education who's not here with us today, but she's amazing. She just started last week. Her name's Madeline Green. Is to really take a look at that time period in Cleveland and what was it that, what happened during that time frame that caused all of these organizations that have been so influential in our community to begin then. I think it would be something really exciting to explore.
Absolutely. And you're going to see a little bit of that in this exhibition. So like I said, there's a couple panels that talk about prehistory of the chamber. So a lot of really interesting things, and commerce were coming into the area that really necessitated the growth and the birth of the chamber at that time.
It did. I think all of those organizations all worked together at that time to make each other stronger and to grow.
Yeah.
And I think that still continues to this day, that continuity that you get and the connections that you get with the chamber and the community organizations like that. And I think you were saying before about the museum center, it really is a gem of our community. And I have been through it several times, and I know I've been there for my kids with field trips and my grandson with field trips. And you have a lot of really neat exhibits and programs. And you've had like your nighttime music programs. Tell us a little bit about some of the programs that you're offering besides just the regular exhibits.
Yes, absolutely. When we reopened from COVID is really when you saw this shift to focusing more on those programs, as you say. We have a lot of our arts-based programs, which is what keeps the community coming back again and again and again. One of the most favorites is our Music Under the Stars concert series. This year we have 5 different concerts that we're offering. One of those opened up back in actually the September 27th. It was the last Friday in September. It was an Oktoberfest cultural event, but really it was a concert. We had a band called Goodfellows. They came from Nashville. Their tagline was the worst band in Music City, WURST. They made that up, not me. I will give myself no credit. Our next concert will be the 75th anniversary of the Redback Hymnal celebration. This is I'm going to say we're kicking off the 75th year. Their actual 75th anniversary is 2026, so this is the beginning of that. We're excited to be partnering with Pathway Press and Lee University.
And that's one of the permanent exhibits is the Redback Hymnal.
Yes, is the Redback Hymnal exhibit, and of course the Chamber of Commerce as well to bring that concert to our community. It will be at the Dixon Center on November 15th. Then we have the Chattanooga Symphony and Opera. Will be at the museum in January. They bring their chamber orchestra up. They came last year. It was just a beautiful experience. You know, for years people have said the sound in that cultural center can be difficult. We've added a lot of sound paneling to help with that. But if you want to know what that room was built for, it was to host a chamber orchestra. I cannot tell you how great that music sounds in that room. It's like being wrapped in a blanket of music. It's the only thing I can explain it to. It's gorgeous. Valentine's Day, we will have the Premier Jazz Orchestra doing some swing music for us, so a little something jazzy and romantic for the special day. And we will end our year, hopefully, in our brand new redesigned outdoor entertainment venue.
I was going to bring that up.
In our
That's
courtyard
exciting.
with a yacht rock concert, Monsters of Yacht.
Oh, nice.
It will be fun. They tour all over the United States, and they have played at the museum before at one of our galas a couple years ago. They are a phenomenal band with great music and are just a ton of fun, and they could be playing anywhere, but they are going to be playing here in Cleveland, Tennessee, so we're very excited to have them.
That is wonderful. And you also, along with all of these events, you also have programs and things in place for kids to do. You do a lot of art programs and history programs and things, and the Missoula Children's Theater comes there as well, correct?
We do. We have Missoula Children's Theater every summer. We also have a guest artist series that, while that one's generally a little more geared to adults, I know my children have participated in it several times. I'd say that's really just up to a parent and their child's ability. Sometimes you have these kids come in, they're just these phenomenal artists, far better than what I could ever do. So I always tell people when they say, is this child appropriate? The content is always child appropriate. It's just, what do you think your child is capable of handling? I know when we had the exquisite miniatures art class, there were several kids in there, and they did great. With it. Adam also did a virtual art school recently.
Oh, cool.
We're in the middle of that program, actually. So the Bradley County Schools virtual school, what we offered is a once-a-month class for these students to come, and I taught them about painting, and we taught them about entrepreneurship in the arts world and how they can make money as an artist or make money at a job that's kind of art adjacent. So we're meeting with them once a month, September, October, and then November, culminating in an art show where they get to show their artwork in the museum.
Oh, how wonderful.
Now that final art show, we're inviting artists and gallery owners and people that work in the arts to come and interact with the students and see their artwork, and this way the students can learn a little bit about soft skills and networking and all the other fantastic things that it takes to be an artist. Great program, very, very happy to offer that right now. We also have been partnering quite a lot with homeschoolers. So we just offered a homeschool field trip day today, and it's going on as we speak. So those sorts of partnerships are really, really important to the museum. Our education department, under our education director, Dr. Julie Mitchell, has been booming from before I joined. I joined in May, but she's been there for almost 2 years now, and has really been robustly engaging with a lot of the schools and homeschoolers.
I think we saw over 6,000 students last year through our K-12 education programs. And then we also offer our JAM, Junior Appalachian Musicians of the Ocoee Region program.
Yeah.
It's only in its second year, but it's still a new one for us, but we have about 40 students participating in that.
Yeah.
Those are weekly music lessons, and they teach children to play traditional Appalachian music using the fiddle, banjo, mandolin, or guitar.
You play a banjo, right, Tammy?
You betcha.
I know, yeah.
Actually, my husband made one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he did. He does woodwork. He actually does some of the items. He has some of his items that he's created in the gift shop there at the museum center. And so he made he did a banjo, and he had it at Cherry's Jubilee last year.
So cool.
But yeah, he does woodworking, and he brings his items down there because at the gift shop, y'all have local artisans and have their works in there. And so he had all this stuff.
Yeah,
and he
come
took
down
it
to the
there.
gift shop, buy some stuff for holiday
Yeah,
season.
We have about
Exactly.
40 different local artists, and I have to say, I love your husband's new little wood characters that we got. We had his whistles.
Oh, they are cool.
I
They are
got.
so cool.
I was like the bad aunt at Christmas. I got all the kids
The
whistles,
whistles?
and they opened them, and every adult in the room just looked at me like, "What is wrong?"
I'm like, why?
Yeah.
It's like I'm awesome. I'm the cool aunt.
He has a good time with that, and he's really enjoyed the experience of being able to have his items down there for people to see them
yeah.
and buy them, and it's been a really great experience for him, and it is his fabulous items down there at the gift shop. And
We got a lot of artists from the entire region that are selling, and not just art-based stuff, but like you said, woodworking, and we have facial products and all kinds of really exciting
local things.
Oh, yeah.
It really is. It's a place for everybody. It's a place for the whole community. It's not just people think of museums as a stuffy, boring place, and it's not. It is an active, lively, engaging community place, community show place.
It sure is. And, you know, there's so many programs. I know we touched on a little education in the music, but we also have a lot of cultural events. We've got our Whispering Giants Intertribal Native Festival. That will be in June of this year. We've got everybody's favorite event is Keg, Cork, and Barrel, I think. That one gets, actually, the Native Festival and our quilt show draw a bigger crowd at this point, but the Keg, Cork, and Barrel is a beer, wine, spirits, and food festival, and it's getting to be a music festival as well. We have multiple live bands. We've got local restaurants from all over the Cleveland area. We've got craft brewers and liquor distributors that are there on site as well. So it's just a good day, usually in the spring, to come out and have fun and celebrate with your friends, just, I don't know, being alive and all the wonderful food and things that we have to offer in Cleveland. But there is something all the time, lecture series, photography classes. Our quilt show, of course, has been running for 25 years. Wonderful celebration of fiber art and heritage in our community as well.
And we are open to the public free Tuesday through Saturday. You can drop a donation if you like, but we are certainly free. And, you know, we want people to know they can come in. The museum is seen as, or it should be seen as, like a third space. So come, meet other people, see the programming that we have, see the exhibitions we have. We have a new exhibition on display right now in our hallway called Pulpit and Pew that is about over 100 years of the history of churches in our area. So if you come, plan to come once every couple months, because you're definitely going to see some exhibition that's a little bit different every time you come.
Or more, because you never know what's going to be offered that day.
Absolutely.
We could be here for hours because there's so much to do going on, but definitely give everybody, what is the website for the museum for people to look you up?
It is www.museumcenter.org.
There you go. So thank you very much for being with me. Make sure you check out the Museum Center, check out the Chamber exhibit, and as much as you can, come to their programs and their shows because it is an experience. It is a gem in our community. Thank you for joining me, and have a great day. See you next time.